When driving to an unfamiliar area, you A. should depend on road signs to find your way. B. should plan your trip in advance. C. only have to know generally where your destination is. D. should always choose the most direct route. B. should plan your trip in advance. When driving to an unfamiliar area, plan your trip in advance. Don't start with only a hazy idea of where you are going. If your destination is in an unfamiliar area, check the location on a map before you start to drive. Which of the following is a safe way to drive through a curve? A. Slow down as you enter, speed up as you exit. B. Maintain a constant speed throughout the curve. C. Speed up as you enter, slow down as you exit. D. Stay near the right edge of your lane. When you see or hear an emergency vehicle coming, you should A. Stop immediately and let the vehicle pass. B. Drive as far toward the right side of the road as is safe and stop. C. Proceed slowly and permit the vehicle to pass. D. Keep moving slowly, staying to the right side of the road. B. Drive as far toward the right side of the road as is safe and stop. When driving on a two-lane roadway or undivided highway, you must yield to an emergency vehicle using its lights and/or siren, regardless of the direction from which it is approaching. Immediately drive as near as possible to the right side of the road and stop, taking care not to stop within an intersection. What color are pavement markings that separate traffic lanes moving in opposite direction? A. Yellow. B. White. C. Yellow and white. D. Yellow, white, and black. A. Yellow. Yellow lines are used in the center of the road to separate lanes of traffic moving in opposite directions.
Want to ace your DMV test? Click on the link below and get your guaranteed cheat sheet.
What should you do when you see this sign? A. Look for a train station ahead. B. Signal before going any further. C. Slow down and yield for trains. D. Stop. C. Slow down and yield for trains. This sign indicates that there is a railroad crossing on the road ahead. You should always slow down when approaching a railroad crossing. Trains cannot yield to cars, so you must let them pass before crossing the tracks. To turn left from multilane, one-way streets and highways, you should start from A. The middle of the intersection. B. The right lane. C. The left lane. D. Any lane. C. The left lane. To turn left from multi-lane streets and highways, start from the left lane. This sign means A. Bicycle crossing. B. Stop. C. Fines double in a work zone. D. Stop ahead. A. Bicycle crossing. Warning signs prepare drivers for upcoming road conditions and hazards and are usually yellow with black markings. This sign alerts drivers to potential bicycle cross traffic. When a traffic signal light turns green, you should A. Yield the right-of-way to pedestrians. B. Accelerate as quickly as possible. C. Back up slowly. D. Not move until another driver waves you on. A. Yield the right-of-way to pedestrians. A green light tells you that you can go through the intersection. However, you must first yield the right of way to traffic and pedestrians who are still in the intersection. This sign means A. Roundabout ahead. B. Lane ends, merge left. C. Turn around. D. Curve ahead. A. Roundabout ahead. This sign indicates that a roundabout is ahead. Enter a roundabout at a low speed and yield to existing traffic. Look over your shoulder to check your blind spot when A. Pulling toward or away from a curb. B. Turning left or right. C. Changing lanes. D. All of the above. D. All of the above. Look over your shoulder to check your blind spot every time you want to change your vehicle's position. If you are turning, changing lanes, or pulling toward or away from a curb, you should check your blind spots. You are driving in the right lane of a multi-lane highway and want to move into the left lane. You should A. Look in your rearview mirror for traffic behind you before changing lanes. B. Look over your left shoulder for traffic in your blind spot before changing lanes. C. Look in your side mirror for traffic and turn on your directional signal. D. All of the above. This sign shows one type of A. Intersection. B. Road curve. C. Right turn. D. Lane change. A. Intersection. This sign indicates that an intersection with a crossing road is ahead. A driver entering interstate traffic from an entrance or acceleration ramp. A. Should yield to drivers already on the interstate. B. Has the right of way. C. May force their way into traffic. D. Can assume that other drivers will change lanes to make room. A. Should yield to drivers already on the interstate. If you are on an entrance or acceleration ramp and are entering interstate traffic, you should yield to drivers already on the interstate highway. Merge safely into traffic when you are able to do so. To check your blind spot when changing lanes to the left, you should glance A. Over your right shoulder. B. At your side mirror. C. Over your left shoulder. D. At your rearview mirror. C. Over your left shoulder. To check your blind spot, glance over your shoulder in the direction that you want to move. This road sign means A. Do not enter. B. No parking. C. No U-turn. D. No left turn. C. No U-turn. This signs indicate that U-turns are prohibited in the location where it is posted. An intersection has no traffic signs or signals. You arrive at the same time as a vehicle to your right. You should A. Speed up and get through the intersection. B. Slow down and yield to the vehicle on your right. C. Drive into the intersection and make the other vehicle stop. D. Honk your horn and drive through the intersection. B. Slow down and yield to the vehicle on your right. When two vehicles arrive to an uncontrolled intersection at the same time, the vehicle on the right has the right of way. Once the vehicle on the right has safely passed through the intersection, the other driver may proceed. This road sign means A. Road widens ahead. B. Lane reduction, the right lane ends soon. C. Highway entrance ramp ahead. D. Lane reduction, the left lane ends soon. B. Lane reduction, the right lane ends soon. This sign indicate that the right lane ends ahead. What do lane signals with a yellow X indicate? A. The signal is about to change to a green arrow. B. The signal is about to change to a red X. C. Drivers may drive normally in this lane. D. Drivers may drive slowly in this lane. B. The signal is about to change to a red X. Lane use control signals are used when the direction of the flow of traffic in a specific lane changes throughout the day. They are used to show which lanes of traffic are open and closed, as well as to show if toll booths are open or closed. When a lane signal contains a yellow X, drivers should clear the indicated lane, as the lane signal is about to change to a red X. You may drive in HOV lanes if A. You are driving faster than the flow of traffic. B. You are driving more slowly than the flow of traffic. C. Your vehicle has 2 or more occupants. D. You are trying to get somewhere quickly. C. Your vehicle has 2 or more occupants. Some highways reserve the left lane for vehicles with 2 or more occupants or hybrid, low-emission vehicles. These high-occupancy vehicle (HOV) lanes are identifiable by signs and diamond pavement symbols and are separated from other lanes by a striped buffer zone. Vehicles may enter and exit the HOV lane only at designated points. What happens if you drink alcohol while taking prescription or over-the-counter medicine? A. The medicine reduces the effect of the alcohol. B. The alcohol will help the medicine cure a cold. C. The combination could multiply the effects of the alcohol or medicine. D. There is no effect because they are different substances. C. The combination could multiply the effects of the alcohol or medicine. Consuming alcohol and other drugs together can increase the impairing effects of both. For example, having one drink while you are also using a cold remedy could affect you as much as several drinks would when being consumed separately from any medications. If a crossing guard is directing traffic in a school zone, you must A. Follow the directions given by the crossing guard. B. Copy what surrounding traffic is doing, despite the crossing guard's instructions. C. Assume the guard is not supposed to be directing traffic. D. Follow rules that would be in place if no children were present. Drivers must have a minimum of fill in the blank. In both personal injury protection (PIP) insurance coverage and property damage liability (PDL) insurance coverage. A. $20,000. B. $10,000. C. $5,000. D. $1,000. B. $10,000. According to Florida's no-fault law, every owner or person in charge of operating a motor vehicle in Florida must provide proof of valid PIP and PDL insurance at the time of vehicle registration. They must have a minimum of $10,000 in PIP coverage and a minimum of $10,000 in PDL coverage. Guide signs are fill in the blank. Signs that provide directional and mileage information to drivers. A. Yellow. B. Red. C. Green. D. White. C. Green. Guide signs, sometimes known as destination signs, have a green background and provide directional and mileage information to specific destinations. They can be a helpful resource when driving in unfamiliar locations. When a vehicle with an anti-lock braking system starts to lose traction on a slippery road, drivers should: A. Pump the brakes. B. Press and hold the brake pedal. C. Press and hold the gas pedal. D. Lightly tap the brakes. B. Press and hold the brake pedal. If their vehicle loses traction on a slippery road, a driver with an anti-lock braking system (ABS) needs to press down hard on the brake pedal, hold it, and steer out of danger. In an emergency situation, the ABS automatically pumps the brakes at a faster rate than the driver could. Removing steady pressure from the brake pedal or pumping the brakes will disengage the ABS. What does a single dashed yellow line separating traffic mean? A. Drivers may pass if it is safe to do so. B. Both lanes travel in the same direction. C. Drivers may not pass. D. Drivers may pass, even if it could be dangerous. A. Drivers may pass if it is safe to do so. Yellow lines separate traffic moving in opposite directions. A single dashed yellow line in the center of a road indicates that vehicles traveling in both directions are permitted to pass. Drivers may only begin a pass if they will not interfere with any oncoming traffic. How long will a DUI conviction remain on your driving record? A. 1 year. B. 10 years. C. 40 years. D. 75 years. When driving near heavy trucks, other drivers and highway users must make allowances for: A. The increased stopping distance required by large vehicles. B. The decreased stopping distance required by large vehicles. C. The decreased noise of larger vehicles. D. The increased speed of larger vehicles. A. The increased stopping distance required by large vehicles. When driving near heavy trucks, other drivers and highway users must make allowances for the increased stopping distance required by the large vehicles. Drivers of smaller vehicles should remain in locations where they can be seen by the driver of the large vehicle and where their view of traffic is not blocked by the vehicle. When driving in rain, you must: A. Use low beam headlights. B. Use high beam headlights. C. Use parking lights. D. Use no lights. A. Use low beam headlights. In rainy conditions, you should use your low beam headlights. At a school crossing sign, you should: A. Always stop, whether there's a stop sign or not. B. Watch for children and be ready to stop. C. Always sound your horn when you see children. D. Be ready to help children crossing the street. A no stopping sign means that, unless directed to do so by a police officer, you may stop only: A. Long enough to unload packages. B. To avoid conflict with other traffic. C. To discharge passengers. D. For less than 5 minutes. B. To avoid conflict with other traffic. A no stopping sign means you can only stop to obey a traffic signal, to obey a police officer, or to prevent a conflict with another vehicle. When should drivers drive across or park on a median? A. When they need to rest. B. When they need to make a phone call. C. When they want to turn around. D. They should never drive into a median. D. They should never drive into a median. Never drive across or park on a median. It is unsafe to do so. flashing hazard lights may be used. A. When your vehicle is stopped or disabled on the highway or shoulder. B. When rain decreases visibility. C. When driving at night. D. In heavy traffic. A. When your vehicle is stopped or disabled on the highway or shoulder. Flashing hazard lights must only be used if your vehicle is disabled or legally stopped on the highway or shoulder. They may also be used when driving in a funeral procession. You are approaching a railroad crossing and you do not see or hear a train. You must stop. A. If a stop sign is posted. B. If a crossing gate is lowered. C. If the crossing lights are flashing. D. All of the above. D. All of the above. You must always stop before crossing railroad tracks if flashing red lights are activated, a crossing gate is lowered, a stop sign is posted, a flagger signals you to stop, or a train is visible or so close to the crossing that it would be hazardous to continue driving. If you are unsure if a train is too close for you to safely cross the tracks, stop. Never race a train. You are turning onto a two-lane road divided by a broken yellow line. You know immediately that A. You are on a two-way road. B. You are on a one-way road. C. The road is under repair. D. You must stay to the left of the broken yellow lines. A. You are on a two-way road. Yellow centerlines are used to separate traffic moving in opposite directions. Broken lines may be crossed to pass slower-moving traffic when it is safe to do so. At an intersection with a stop sign, you should stop and A. Check your rearview mirror for cars tailgating. B. Move when the vehicle ahead of you moves. C. Look right first, then left, then right again. D. Look left first, then right, then left again. D. Look left first, then right, then left again. When stopped at an intersection, you should first look to your left, as vehicles coming from the left are closer to you than vehicles coming from the right. Look to your right, then look to your left again, in case there are any vehicles coming from that direction that you did not see at first glance. You must stop for a school bus. A. That is parked on the shoulder of the road with no one in it. B. When it approaches you, even if its lights are not flashing. C. If you are both driving on a two-lane highway and its red lights are flashing. D. Whenever the driver waves at you. When approaching a school bus stopped with its stop arm extended, drivers should A. Come to a complete stop and wait to proceed. B. Honk their horn before passing the bus on its left. C. Continue driving when they think most kids are probably done exiting the bus. D. Pass the bus before its door opens. A. Come to a complete stop and wait to proceed. When approaching a stopped school bus that is using its stop signal, a driver is required to come to a complete stop. They should not proceed until the stop arm is withdrawn. This road sign means A. Slow down or stop. B. Stop, if necessary. C. You must come to a complete stop. D. Drive with caution and be ready to stop. C. You must come to a complete stop. An 8-sided sign always means, stop. You must come to a complete stop and wait for any vehicles or pedestrians to clear the way before proceeding. If one of your tires blows out as you are driving, you should A. Brake hard immediately. B. Try to steer straight while gradually slowing by removing your foot from the gas pedal. C. Maintain your current speed and steer straight. D. Swerve back and forth to alert traffic behind you. B. Try to steer straight while gradually slowing by removing your foot from the gas pedal. If a tire blows out while you are driving, hold the steering wheel tightly and keep the car headed straight down the road. Ease your foot off the gas pedal and do not apply the brakes until you have complete control. When the car is under control, brake gently and pull off the road at the nearest safe location. When passing another vehicle on a road with two lanes traveling in opposite directions, you should: A. Return to the driving lane when there's enough room between you and the vehicle you passed. B. Remain in the left lane if you intend to turn left. C. Return to the right side of the roadway immediately. D. Drive in either lane. A. Return to the driving lane when there's enough room between you and the vehicle you passed. When passing another vehicle on a two-lane roadway, you must return to the right side of the roadway when there is enough room between you and the vehicle you have passed. After stopping for a school bus that is unloading children. A. Do not proceed until the children wave to you. B. Watch for children walking along the side of the road. C. Accelerate quickly. D. Turn on your emergency flashers. B. Watch for children walking along the side of the road. After stopping for a school bus that has its stop arm extended and its lights flashing, watch for children walking along the side of the road. You should always drive with caution when driving near children. This sign means that A. A community service group is picking up trash along the highway ahead. B. Workers are on or very close to the road in the work zone ahead. C. Children are at play ahead. D. There is a pedestrian crosswalk ahead. B. Workers are on or very close to the road in the work zone ahead. This sign indicates that workers may be on or very close to the roadway ahead, so you should take special care when traveling through the area. Unless otherwise posted, the speed limit is: fill in the blank. In municipal, business, and residential areas. A. 70 miles per hour. B. 55 miles per hour. C. 45 miles per hour. D. 30 miles per hour. D. 30 miles per hour. Unless otherwise posted, the speed limit in municipal, business, or residential areas is 30 miles per hour. If a posted sign indicates otherwise, follow the speed limit on the posted sign. You are stopped in a line of vehicles waiting at a stop sign. If there is no cross traffic after the vehicles ahead have passed through the intersection, you A. may proceed through the intersection without stopping again. B. must stop again at the stop sign or stop line before proceeding. C. may slowly roll past the stop sign. D. may follow the vehicle directly ahead of you without stopping. B. must stop again at the stop sign or stop line before proceeding. You must always bring your vehicle to a complete stop and yield to approaching traffic before proceeding past a stop sign. Don't feel pressured by surrounding traffic to avoid making a complete stop. Round signs indicate: A. no passing zones. B. school zones. C. upcoming railroad crossings. D. hospitals. When entering a highway from an entrance ramp, you should generally A. Enter above the speed of traffic to get ahead. B. Enter slowly to avoid other vehicles. C. Stop first, then slowly enter traffic. D. Accelerate to the speed of traffic. D. Accelerate to the speed of traffic. Entrance ramps for highways often have acceleration lanes. When merging with traffic from an acceleration lane, you should put your signal on, look for an opening in traffic, accelerate up to the speed of traffic, and merge into an opening in traffic. Which of the following statements is true? A. It is okay for drivers of other vehicles to follow motorcycles closely. B. A motorcycle with two people on it is more balanced than a motorcycle with just one rider. C. The driver of a passenger vehicle must change lanes completely when passing a motorcycle. D. Drivers of other vehicles can expect a motorcycle's brake lights to turn on when the motorcyclist slows down. C. The driver of a passenger vehicle must change lanes completely when passing a motorcycle. Motorcycles are entitled to the width of a full lane. Be sure your vehicle is entirely in the left lane before attempting to pass a motorcycle on the left. A single broken white line down the center of a two-lane road indicates A. Lanes are moving in opposite directions and drivers are not permitted to pass. B. Lanes are moving in opposite directions and drivers are permitted to pass when it is safe to do so. C. Lanes are moving in the same direction and drivers are not permitted to pass. D. Lanes are moving in the same direction and drivers are permitted to pass when it is safe to do so. D. Lanes are moving in the same direction and drivers are permitted to pass when it is safe to do so. White lines are used to separate traffic moving in the same direction. Dashed lines indicate that drivers directly next to the line are permitted to pass when it is safe to do so. If you begin to feel tired while driving, the best thing to do is to A. Get some coffee. B. Open your window. C. Stop driving. D. Turn on the radio. C. Stop driving. Being fatigued while driving is similar in danger to driving under the influence of alcohol. If you begin to feel tired while driving, the best thing to do is to stop driving. Pennant-shaped signs indicate A. School zones. B. No passing zones. C. Speed limits. D. Railroad crossings. B. No passing zones. Pennant-shaped signs usually indicate no passing zones. Text will also be on the sign to confirm that it is a no passing zone.